Well, as we've seen, hundreds of people are flocking to Nkandla to show their support for the former president. COVID-19 health regulations are being ignored, with some people even flouting the wearing of masks and social distancing. Well, our senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is in Nkandla. Let's find out from him what is happening there at the moment. Aviwe, good afternoon to you. And let's just start very quickly, though, with what was happening just before 12 o'clock. Before I came on air, we saw something was happening with Carl Niehaus. What was going on there?
So some 5 kilometers away from the road that we are is a turnoff, essentially, that leads to the Nkandla homestead. Now, the police made an attempt to block that off with some about 7 vans, police vans. They're trying to cordon that area off as the eThekwini delegation of the ANC members were coming through. A convoy essentially of about 50 cars making their way to Nkandla homestead. In speaking to one of the policemen there, they told me that they'd gotten orders to stop anyone coming through. And in fact, Carl Niehaus was one of those members that were part of those convoys. After conversation of about 5 minutes with the delegation of the ANC members on the ground, they were let free. They were let to go through and come join the hundreds that are already outside the Nkandla homestead with their convoy of about a 50-strong car delegation making their way here. It's quite ironic that the police say that they're still investigating this situation while there are no police presence here. There's essentially about 1 policeman that I've spotted just now. But I want to catch up with Carl Niehaus there as we see the MKMVA, basically the only authority giving direction as to what's happening here. But I want to grab Carl Niehaus. Carl,
we have to deal with it.
I just want to talk to you quickly before you go inside here. Talk about the earlier incident that happened there when you were trying to block off. They say they let you off then. Of course, the concerns are around the COVID-19 pandemic, and we see around 1,000 people here, some of them, a lot of them not wearing masks. Concerning scenes.
Of course, we are concerned about COVID-19. We are trying to manage the situation. It is a volatile situation with many people legitimately angry about what has been done to President Zuma.
Why call a super spreader event then? Organize a super spreader event that we're seeing here.
I'm not organizing any super spreader event. I'm managing a spontaneous outpouring of outrage. We have warned the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress that this situation will develop if there's action against President Zuma and the imprisonment of President Zuma. This is now happening. I'm sorry that I have to say on behalf of MKMVA, we told you so. We have asked for cool heads. We've asked for handling this situation in a different way. Our leadership have failed us. I'm not calling any of the people who are here to come here. They're here on their own volition.
You were part of a strong 50-car convoy just moments ago coming here. I mean, surely that's a cause of concern in itself, given that we're in a 3rd wave of the pandemic.
That convoy of cars came about because of the blockage on the road. I was not part of the convoy when I was coming here, but even if I was, it's an expression of people's anger and outrage. Much more will still happen today.
What's the president saying in your conversation?
Many more cars are going to come.
What?
Many more people will come, not because I or anyone else have called them, but because they feel it is their duty to come and protect President Zuma. And it's not just about the protection of President Zuma. It's about the protection of our democratic society and our constitution. President Zuma's constitutional rights have been fundamentally violated by the Constitutional Court.
If the Constitutional Court maintains its decision to jail the former president, has the president indicated what's the next step is, and what's the next step from your regard?
I can't speak on behalf of President Zuma. President Zuma will speak later today on his own behalf. The position of Nkandla Military Veterans Association is that we are opposed to the arrest of President Zuma. We will resist that arrest within the confines of the law. We will not accept it. And as I'm standing here now, all of us in Nkandla Military Veterans Association will continue to use our democratic freedom of speech right to express our fundamental, unequivocal opposition to any act against President Zuma.
Okay, that's Carl Niehaus from the MKMVA, disbanded by the ANC itself. You'd be forgiven, Yuveka, for thinking if this is some sort of a carnival, as you see the hundreds around here, a lot of them not wearing masks in the middle of the third wave pandemic. The police hardly visible here. Essentially, I'm going to ask my colleague to show you one policeman that we can spot, even clouded by a lot of the MKMVA members on the ground. Yeah, they're the ones, the disbanded MKMVA, that are giving direction as to what's happening around here. The police not enforcing any of those regulations. We heard from the SAPS that they will be conducting investigations as to exactly what's happening here. But it's quite disappointing that they're not here. They're not stopping the clear clouting and flouting of the COVID-19 regulations.
Well, Aviwe, I don't know what it is that they actually have to investigate. This is the live proof of what is actually happening out there. You've got the faces, because people are not even wearing masks. What's to investigate is actually just, I don't know, what more do you need to actually investigate a situation like this? But one would have to wonder, Aviwe, are these supporters themselves, these people, are they not worried for their own safety? You've been out there for a couple of days now. What have they been telling you? I mean, do they even know just what this could mean for their health and their lives? It's a matter of life and death.
That's another disappointing issue, Yuveka. Whenever I speak to some of these supporters, trying to find out, just even for their own safety, they speak of a war that they're under. They speak of the situation that they're under, willing to put their lives, essentially. It's even a conversation I had with one of the Mpumalanga delegation, the leadership from there, that spoke of even taking on the police, taking on the people that are coming here, are aware of the casualties that may happen because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's something obviously that can be easily avoidable by just calling off what we're seeing here, or dealing with it in another manner, their grievances on the ground. But clearly they don't mind flouting the regulations and essentially putting their lives at risk amid the level 4 adjusted lockdown level and the third wave of the coronavirus, which is ravaging South Africa at the moment.
And even more disappointing, what you actually just heard from the likes of Carl Niehaus, their senior members of the ANC who can't say anything, who can't actually do anything to stop this. And considering you had a high-level delegation actually inside Nkandla, you would imagine that something a little more drastic would have been done to stop this.
Yes, you would, but I want to actually even come closer here. I'm not sure if Edward Zuma will want to give us that comment there. But Edward, I'm sorry, you're not wearing a mask. Aren't you concerned of the pandemic that's ravaging the country now?
Come again?
You're not wearing a mask yourself. Aren't you concerned of the pandemic that's ravaging the country currently, with a lot of people not wearing masks here?
Right now, I'm in a situation of war, so I do not have time to think about a mask. In any way, if you are in war, you must prepare to die. You must be prepared to die. So if it kills me, it kills me. In the situation I'm in right now, I'm in no mood of thinking about a mask.
Okay, Edward Zuma, former President Jacob Zuma's son, reiterating the very sentiments, Yuveka, that I was speaking about. Whenever you ask any of the thousands now that are flocking here, asking them about their own safety, you'd get a similar response of being in the middle of a war. They're willing to lay down their lives amid a COVID-19 pandemic that's really ripping through the country at the moment.